So as restrictions get lifted and offices start opening up, it's time for you to start thinking about how to get to work. Now, public transit is out of the question. Same with Uber and Lyft at this time. So really, what's plan B? That is getting a used car. But with the pandemic, it's really shifted the negotiation process. So today, I want to talk about how to get the best price on a used car post-COVID. Stay tuned. Hey guys, it's Brian back at you with another video where my goal is to help you guys find a rewarding career and to also help you create a life you're proud of. Now, this is your first time here. Know that I do give job search tips as well as career growth advice and strategy from my leadership experience behind company lines. And we also tackle other career related topics such as this. Now, if you want more videos just like this one, please hit that subscribe button. All right, let's talk about buying a used car. Guys, prices have actually gone up. It's pretty crazy. I think a lot of people assume that prices were going to go down because of the economic shutdown. Dealerships were probably, we're thinking that dealerships are itching to get rid of inventory, but that's not the case. A lot of people are trying to find a way to get from point A to B by themselves in isolation, and that option meant buying a used car. So it really spiked up prices. It's definitely a seller's market right now. And on top of that, these car dealerships normally buy their inventory from car auctions. Those car auction prices have really increased because of the high demand. And so they're passing on those costs to you. And on top of because the demand is so high, they're just less likely to negotiate. So the reality is it's harder to get a good deal. That's it. It still can be done, but it's more difficult. And the deals you got last year probably won't be as good as they are this year. That said, at the time of filming, latest reports are that prices are starting to plateau, if not decline. They're starting to see that trend. So if you can hold out on buying a used car for a couple more months, I'd recommend that you do that. One other thing, I do have another video on how to get the best deal on a used car. I'll have a link in the description down below or a card above here. But guys, watch that video after you watch this one. That video, a lot of those tactics and strategies and tips actually apply even post-COVID. So watch that. The two videos will complement each other. This is more just a post-COVID scenario and what you should be doing. All right, guys, first things first, let's determine whether the car that you want is high in demand. Here's a list of the fastest selling cars. Feel free to pause the video, take a screenshot, and just check to see if the car you want is on this list. And if it is, you're probably not going to get a good deal at all right now. And if you can, I'd rather recommend that you wait a couple more months or into next year before you go shopping. Number two, even though prices are going up overall, at least in North America due to the pandemic, locally, there are going to be some dealerships that are struggling. So I do recommend that you start doing some recon, right? Go to the dealerships, go there in person, start scoping out the situation. Are they busy? Are there a lot of salespeople out there? Are they on you, really trying to put the pressure for you to buy? How desperate do they feel? How desperate do they sound? Start doing the recon and just use that as a temperature gauge to see how much negotiating power you actually have. And you might actually find that some dealers are really desperate for a good sale, and that might be the one you'll want to target. Number three, and that is looking at a new car. Should your budget allow? But I mean, you've got a lot of demand, like I said, for used cars. It's more within the budget of a lot more people, but maybe for you, something in the new car range might be better because you get more incentives, and it's a little bit different of a dynamic, right? A lot of these incentives don't come from the dealer, they come from the actual manufacturer, and they're wanting to push out this inventory to clear inventory up for the new year. So that could be another avenue. And remember too, the dealer also has an incentive to get rid of the inventory, the new car inventory, because every time they bring inventory and put it on their lot, they're paying interest to borrow the money to put that car on that lot there. So they want to get rid of that car so they can then pay that loan back. So keep that in mind. There could be an incentive. There could be a play for you, a desire for them to get rid of the car, thus giving you a better deal on a new car instead of a used car. Number four is the realization, let's face it, that the car salesman is going to be the better negotiator than all of us because they do this day in and day out. The chances of us beating them per se in a deal is incredibly low. We have no idea how much they bought a used car for. Like I said, they may have bought this from an auction. They may have got a really good trade-in deal from someone who was really underwater or really had to get rid of their used car. You just don't know. They are much better at negotiating than all of us, or at least for the vast majority of us. And so the other tip would be to go on Craigslist. Negotiate with someone that doesn't negotiate every day. Buy it from someone personally. Just make sure to have your car thoroughly inspected by your own mechanic. There could be some people out there that are in dire need to make some cash, making a quick sale. So that's something that you could definitely look into or take advantage of. Now, if you don't trust that process and you really want to buy from a specific dealer, fine. Let's talk about that now. And the first thing that I want you guys to do is actually get your own loan. Get the money yourself, right? Go to the bank, get approved for a loan, and go in with the cash ready at hand at the dealers. And the reason why you want to do that is because of the pandemic. A lot of dealers aren't going to want to deal with you with regards to getting more money or getting approval for a loan or that whole credit check process. Right now, a lot of people that are providing that type of money, that are lending money, they don't want to part ways with their money. And as a result, it's going to be much more difficult, or it's going to result in higher interest. And it just makes the whole process more difficult, even for the seller. That's like another thing that they're not sure whether or not you're going to approve for, even though you sign on the dotted line. So that's something that they'll want to just remove from the whole equation. And you can go in there and say, look, I've got all the cash. Here's how much I want to pay. I can do that right now. And they don't have to worry about the whole credit check and all that stuff. So get the money ready, get your own loan, or get the cash ready so that you can go buy without any sort of financing hurdles. The second thing you want to do at the dealer is that you have to dangle the carrot in front of them. Let them know explicitly that you are ready to buy. If you do not tell them that, if you hold your cards too close to your chest, to your heart, and you don't show the desire to buy, they are going to think that you're hesitant. But if you want to buy, then they know that you're hot to trot, right? That you're ready to pull the trigger, and they'll definitely want to do the deal with you that day because they know that they can make the sale, and that as a result, they'll make some level of commission. So you really have to emphasize how much you want to buy a car immediately. Third thing you want to keep in mind is the timing. I talked about this in my other video, and that is to buy at the end of the quarter or end of the month. That is when they're tracking sales. That's when they're trending to see how they're doing for the year. And I will tell you, if you do it by the end of the quarter, that is probably more powerful than doing it at the end of the month. At the end of the quarter, they need to hit some specific targets, and if they don't meet the quarter, it can make them look really, really bad or really, really good. Either way, there is definitely incentive for them to sell. So definitely watch the timing, aim for end of the quarter if you possibly can, if not end of the month. All right, the next tip, and that is to play off this whole pandemic thing, right? You want to get dealers to bid for your business. And one way of doing that is to do it virtually and play the whole pandemic card, right? Say you do not want to go to the office. You don't want to go to the dealership showroom until you lock down on a price that you guys are fully agreed upon. And that is the price that you will actually pay for the vehicle, the final price. And you want to do this all through email, through text, through phone, rather than being on the showroom. And you can do this with multiple dealers, and you can tell them, look, I'm looking at this car as well as I'm looking at your car. I'm looking at this other guy's car at another dealership, and here's what they're willing to offer me. Have them play off each other. And I think you can really use the pandemic card to your favor and to do a lot of this without being on their turf. And then that way you can really take your time, really coax it out of them. Think about how you want to respond to those responses. I mean, if you can do it over text, if you can do it over email, it just gives you time to process, whether that's 5 minutes or like overnight. But it's way better than doing it on the fly for a lot of you guys who aren't used to the negotiating process. I know for me, if I'm a little bit rusty, doing it on the fly, you kind of get yourself into a little bit of trouble. But if you have them bidding on you for your business and letting them know that you're talking to other dealerships, and on top of it, you've got the comfort of your own home and working at your own pace, that's pretty good. I think that's probably the best scenario you've got in order to turn the tides to your favor. Now, to that point, if you are going to negotiate virtually, which I've done actually for this car that I'm currently in, then make sure you do have subjects to a test drive or something like that. I mean, you do want to test drive your car just to make sure everything is running fine or subject to an inspection or what have you. But it's important that you do talk about that and make sure that they agree to it so that they don't assume that you're 100% in no matter what. I don't think that's unreasonable. I think it's important to know that the car that you're buying, you're comfortable with it, that you can see that there aren't any major blind spots, those type of things. So make sure you do bring those things up. The vast majority of dealers right now will totally be okay with that. But I just don't want you to forget about that because you may be so caught up in the virtual buying process and they give you such a great deal and you've got other buyers bidding for your business that you just pull the trigger thinking that you're good to go. Like I said, the demand is really high right now. Hopefully, after a couple months, it does go down. But if you were to buy the car right now, yeah, you're going to pay a little bit more than, say, someone who may have bought that same car a year ago or 6 months ago. But here's the thing. You can get money back in other ways. And I talk about this in my other video, and that is to start negotiating on brakes. Get a new brake job done. Get your tires replaced. Get your windshield replaced. Try to build in maintenance or free oil changes. Whatever you can do to save money so that you don't have to spend that on maintenance or some wear and tear that you have to cover the cost for 3 or 6 months from now. Try to build all that in now. You can negotiate for new rims. You could put in detailing packages. You could put service packages in there. Whatever the case may be, start working it that way and you might save yourself $4 grand, $5 grand just on service stuff alone. That's it, guys. Be sure to watch my other video on how to negotiate the best price on a used car. I'll have it linked up here as well as down below. And guys, let me know how the negotiation process is going. Let me know how things are going right now for you. Like I said, prices were on the up and up and they're starting to plateau. Hopefully that is the case, but we'll see what second wave does if there is a second wave. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Now, if there is a topic you want me to cover in a future video, just let me know in the comment section down below. Guys, thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.